Despite what the princess says, the only way to meet force is with equivalent force.
Or greater one, in this case.
I mean, you're saying greater. It's like 6 mobile suits. I don't... Obviously, they're the protagonists, but, you know. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Gundam Wing. We are, what, like 20 away from the end?
Actually, yeah, well, 20.
Well, technically 19 away from 19, the end. Well, I'm just saying, 19, like, roundabouts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. As always, though, we come back with notes and a board. So let's go ahead and hit up that board real quick. Where, obviously, we still have board change logs. I added Townsend and connected him with a green line to Quattro and Hero. I connected Noin to Sally with a green line. I added Dorothy Catalonia and connected her with a blue line to Dermail and a green line to Relina. And I connected Noin to Pagan with a green line.
Makes sense, I guess.
You can't guess. You're part of the journey to Lessons.
And none of the ministers or the people at that table had any names, so they shouldn't be here.
Shouldn't be there.
Makes sense. I mean, there were not many changes between episodes, so I didn't, all of them are correct as far as what actually happened or didn't. I don't feel like a lot. I mean, it seems like a lot happened, but not really happened a lot. There wasn't a lot of forward movement. I have a note about that in comments later on, but yeah. That's why I don't have much to say about that.
An insane amount of forward movement happened. And that's not even sarcasm. I have a note about that. How insane it fucking was.
Not from my point of view.
Well, the problem is that your point of view has been... Okay. You are like a movie critic who has been forced to watch nothing but F-tier movies. You can't see how insane the forward progression is because your sense of what's normal has been so disrupted by what you've been forced to watch. As I said, I have a note about it, so I'm not getting into it all right here.
Well, I will certainly get into my notes then. Starting with episode 29, the heroine of the battlefield. A discussion the ministers have does make one good point. Repression does not lead to peace, it merely leads to more conflicts and people tend to rebel against said repression. Not only that, but I would add that repression requires the use of force, real or implied, and that in itself is a violation of the peace.
Well, I mean, my only argument there is you said that it causes people to rebel. Not these people.
I mean, they are...
Literally, they refuse to defend themselves. In the face of danger, so the total pacifists are the best people to oppress.
Yes, but I do have a note about that. I think following it up because there's a lot of the way the writers try to express these ideas. I had to go like, I think I know what you're trying to say there. Let me see if I can translate in my own mind because it's very clumsy to say the least.
Alright, well, before I get into my first note, I want to explain ahead of time, before this might all come off as mean, that I wrote my notes between the hours of 2 a.m. and 7 a.m., of which I maybe got an hour of sleep, so I was in a mood. So, we've got Relina sitting at the head of a table talking to leaders of various nations that stand opposed to Romefeller taking over and enforcing peace. But we never really saw Relina get into this position of power in the first place. Noin rescues her from being captured by Oz, then the next time we see her, she's all dressed up and attending a Romefeller event. Next thing you know, she's dressed like an aristocrat and representing the Sank Kingdom. I mean, they indicate to us that Zex is the son of the Sank Kingdom's king, and then Noin lets Relina know that Zex is her brother. And that's about it. No one else in the loop, really. We never see any form of government that the Sand Kingdom may have had in the interim, just a single Earthsphere Alliance base that Otto took out. Relina's rise to power has all of the logic of a hangover movie. One moment celebrating her birthday, the next leading a nation.
I mean, yeah, can't really say anything against that.
Legitimately, it's a hangover movie. Just blacked out in the middle and power. And then everybody at the table was like, just good. She's good ideas. Where did she come from? Good ideas.
I didn't know there were members of different nations. I felt that there were cabinet members to, talking with her.
They say it's world leaders. They say they're world leaders, and then the guys outside are like the Peace Nations Summit, whatever. So I assume it's like the G4 or whatever of bitches.
G. I'll get to my second point. This is what I'm trying to translate here. I think I get what Rolina is saying, that this might be a problem in translation. Essentially, our freedoms end where others begin, and theirs ends where ours begin, right? There's always limit. You have freedom, but there's always limit because we live in a society, right?
Cool Joker line, bro.
With other people. Yeah. And B, and that there is power in peaceful resistance. However, I again raise this prospect of what happens when someone disregards your peaceful intentions and presses on with the use of violence. What do you do then?
I was really hoping you were going to break into an Oompa Loompa song. What do you get from that? One thing or the other. Anyway, yeah, no, I think we're going to be going back and forth over the same things because I might feel like my notes are the same as your notes, essentially. Except that I didn't actually write anything about this one because I thought about it. I wrote a big old, well, not a big old, I think I wrote 3 sentences and then just deleted them immediately because it's like, I get what she was going for the same way that you saying that you get what she was going for. I think I made a joke during the reaction. Oh, she's doing thought police on us. But the element that freedom is a right, but no one can have total freedom. Which is,
that's what I said.
I'm just quoting her. I know, I understood that you understood because you said essentially the same thing. I'm just saying that I was going to make a note about this, but I just didn't find it to be noteworthy at the end of the day because if we were going to be like analyzing the philosophy of Gundam Wing, maybe, but otherwise this is just another line and a long line of lines about freedom and pacifism and whatnot.
War and conflict and whatever else they want to throw at us.
Yeah, stuff that I'll have more notes about in this whole note section as well. These leaders at the table make no sense. One guy says that they were worried that they couldn't stand up to Romefeller all by themselves, and the guy next to him comforts him by pointing out that the Sank Kingdom believes in total pacifism. How is that comforting? He's basically told you that the Sank Kingdom will be of no help whatsoever. He may as well have told you to pray on it.
I mean,
he's saying that we came together because we wanted to be together to fight against the Romefeller Foundation. And they're like, the Sank Kingdom's got your backs. And we're talking about total pacifism. So it's like, guys, I think our best bet here is if we all douse ourselves with oil and set ourselves on fire. That'll teach them.
Yeah. That's one hell of a peaceful protest. Now we jump over to the scene with the dogs and the beach. And again, this is my interpretation. If you guys don't think it's, I say guys in the audience, of course, it makes sense that way then. Yeah. The scene with the dogs is meant to humanize the characters, especially the hero, but also remind that these are, well, kids, in spite of, or more to the point, because of everything that they have done and experienced.
I think the beach only exists for the kindness thing. Kindness is needed more than the ability to fight, because kindness is more applicable to everyday life. You're going to need kindness more than anything we're doing right now. I think that whole line sequence is the only reason that beach scene exists.
It's Hiro who says it, so yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, though, but because he's saying it to Quattro, who was all about that shit before he got rocked by the whole dad thing and then the Zero system. Well, bit of a meta note here. I find that I don't have a lot to talk about for a number of these scenes because either the characters are just saying obvious stuff out loud, like kindness is a quality that you'll need more when you're not fighting, or people trying to kill us are our enemies, or they say something real obtuse, some real obtuse bullshit. Some of the time I got commentary about how the bullshit is bullshit, but some of it it's just so dumb that I spend more time thinking about if I should say something than actually saying anything. For reference, I wrote this note about having little to note while considering if I should say something about Sally Poe's "The sea's gotta be cold at latitude 50" line.
Yes, yeah. I skipped over that part myself. I skipped over a lot of parts, basically. Um, and talking about Sally Poe, and then Sally Poe unlocked teleportation.
Well, then I'll just
Now,
match that because I have a longer note that literally starts with that. I know you
yeah,
joked about Noin and Sally's teleporting ability, but the thing that jumped out at me during that scene is that the Oz guys burst into the room. Noin holds them off with some gunfire as they jump out the window. The Oz guys see this and decide running through the building and down a flight of stairs is the best way to catch up with them, to open fire on them immediately. If they were just going to open fire on them, they should have just run up to the window they jumped out of and shot at them from there. I said it before, sometimes it doesn't feel like the writer thought about being in the world at all.
yeah, I think it's sort of that phenomenon of certain writers, especially amateur writers, so they have a scene in their mind, right? Oh, this will be very cool. They open the doors and shoot. It's like, okay, but what led you to that, and what you do after? I don't know. Just
Imagine putting it
that's
into like
certain.
a D&D framework, right?
Yeah,
Okay, they jump out the window. What do? I'm going to go and spend the next 7 turns running through the building to get to the front gate. The window is right there. They were right in front of you. So,
yeah.
yeah, well, what
Or
can
the
I do?
wizard just
It's a
walks to the
window. That
window,
might as well
goes
be
like,
another world.
yeah, windows. Well, so the wizard goes like, ah, yes, fireball. You know, I mean, that's normally what they would do. Another short note. Of course, we also Sally Paul also trusts knowing implicitly because that is what the plot demands. I can see that if it would have been, and again, it's the way it's said, right? If they were like, okay, we're fighting the same enemy, so we're gonna stick together. It's like, no, I trust you. You're and like it reminds me of that scene in the hangar when the what was it, the guys where Cartwright show up and it was like, oh well, I know a guy. My guy would like your guy. And like you don't even mention who the hell they are. They just your guys, you know.
I almost wrote a note about this at the end of the episode where Noin says, I want to get your trust. But the line before that, it was Sally saying, I trust you. So Sally says, I trust you, because she says that you don't have to tell me where you're from and all that. And I trust that you're going to do all the good things, whatnot. And then Noin's like, oh, don't worry. I'll let you know where the other Gundams are. I want to earn your trust. You already earned your trust. That's what she was just telling you. You're not listening.
Yeah, like two different conversations. And again, even a better writer could have actually used that as a oh yeah they're trying to communicate but failing to communicate. That could be something, but again, not here. It just she says one thing, she says another. That's where we at.
Was that your note, or were you just responding to me?
My note was about them trusting each other. I think you
Okay,
had a longer note.
that was just me responding to you. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
um, Noin wants the Gundam to retaliate against Romefeller. Fair enough. But when Sally asks her who she's with, Noin goes on to vaguely tell her that she's with the Sand Kingdom and she needs to protect Relina because she can bring true peace to the world. Except the start of this whole conversation was about how you wanted the Gundam to fight Romefeller. Not only is that going against Relina's whole total pacifism shtick, it reminds me of the cycle of pain Gundam Seed described and how I kept saying that there was no real way to escape it. Well, here we are, Noin perpetuating the cycle.
And I guess fall back to 101 of what I said before about that. That's true, but the cycle of pain simply can't be about, you know, that. It also has to go to root causes. And in this case, is the root cause is Romefeller trying to control the world.
I
Somebody
would
has to fight
argue,
back.
almost maybe hyperbolically, that the fight against Romefeller is the only cause of the fight. Romefeller just wants to rule. Total
Yeah.
pacifists don't want to fight back. The only people that are fighting are the people who are just against Romefeller ruling. We have not ever seen the negative consequences of Romefeller ruling. They're just aristocrats being aristocrats. All we ever see is the fallout of the military conflict. Absent of the military conflict, fucking people might just be all right. Like, I get that an authoritarian regime might be bad, but these are just like aristocrats who want to be hoity-toity. They haven't seen them do anything negative. And we got fucking peasants out there, like the old man Quattro was helping. It's like they're already peasants. I don't think they're going to make them worse.
Now, my first note on Dorothy. So Dorothy just wants to see fighting for fighting's sake?
Sure. I like to go to a demolition derby, watch wrestling, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's
she's
a
an
show,
aristocrat's daughter. What is the biggest form of that spectacle that you can get as a rich person with no limits? She's driving a stretched golden limo.
Bigger than the kingdom's own limo, the pink limo.
Well, to be fair, that's her limo from back when she was just a diplomat's daughter. Pagan brought it with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it fits, right? She just wants the biggest spectacle.
The blood sport, yeah. She
doesn't care about who wins or why they're fighting. Might be
a commentary on the audience, maybe.
Probably. Or most Gundam. Quattro and Hero's transport plane clearly just took shots from a phalanx Sea-Wiz, and they gave us the bullet ricochet noises with no damage to the plane itself. This must be the most heavily armored transport plane on Earth.
Yeah, probably made out of Gundanium or something.
It just seemed ridiculous to me. I mean, I also wrote down about how Hero jumps out of it and, at whatever speed that was, but we already concluded a long time ago that Hero's a fucking Terminator, so.
Yeah. Hero is Hero. So my last note on this particular episode. So Noin is like, well, reading ideas are well and good, but if you want peace, better prepare for war.
But she's not. That's the thing. These people are willing to lay down their lives for total pacifism, which is great for the other side.
Yeah, are you willing to die for my ideals? Okay, kill them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I have a future note thing, but the element of peaceful protest, or even I don't know what you call it, self-harm protest, like starvation protests and whatnot, is that the other side has to care about you, your life, or human dignity.
There's a quote about that. There's a quote about pacifism. Exactly. I said it was Huey Long, but it's not Huey Long. It's actually a civil rights leader during the 1960s. And he's just like, it's exactly the same thing. It depends on the humanity of the other side, right? If the other side is not humane, then
or
it doesn't matter, right?
I mean, it doesn't apply to this situation, but if they see you as less than human, then your protest means nothing. You're inflicting self-harm, essentially. Sorry, just not going to finish that thought. I have been advocating for things which you should not advocate for, so. Fuck it, I'll say. Sometimes violence is the answer.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to say that, so. It's a good thing we never question where the characters get their equipment. Otherwise, I might be asking how Sally and Noin got those mobile suits at the bottom of the ocean when the last time that I saw them, they were driving a truck away from the Oz base. I'll just have to assume that the Oz guys chose not to follow them or send any reconnaissance in the direction that they were heading. I guess the mobile suits were also on the land when they got there, because both women are dry when we see them in the cockpits. Sally, who's apparently crashed a plane into the water, dry. Got into an underwater mobile suit, dry.
Again, the power of teleportation. I mean, that's he's the most powerful character in the whole of Gundam right now.
I mean, we're 2 notes away from my "it's insane how fast this plot's going" note, where I'm going to answer that thing that you had brought up before in the board thing. So,
to the next episode for me anyway. Episode 30, the reunion with Relina. Hero, the enemy is a useful tool. Katra, yeah. But it's not our fight. Hero, well, yeah, but I'm bored and we have 19 episodes to go. That's basically my note to continuation of what I said about the board and things rushing in. I actually feel, and I gotta say this, I got back into Wing. Huh?
It's not a good show.
No, but I want to say it fully. I don't want to be dismissive. I can be dismissive.
Literally, we were reacting to Stardust Memory, and I know you didn't like the end of Stardust Memory, but Stardust Memory is fucking Shakespeare compared to Gundam
Oh
Wing.
yeah, definitely. They actually do,
We're
express
angry
their
about the
ideas.
end. Well, not angry. You don't like the end of Stardust Memory because you somewhat understand the motivations of where people are and how they got there and what's going on. Whereas Gundam Wing, you just transport yourself from spot to spot. Have to understand what's happening in the moment.
And here's the thing: it's like at first, nostalgia. I remember Gundam Wing when I watched it back in the '90s. It was a lot of fun. And then it's like, okay, well, it doesn't hold up on nostalgia, but it's so narmy, so wacky. That's okay. We're going with that. Now, 30 some episodes in, I'm like, that's just worn out. So I know you're saying that things are moving quickly. I feel like this is a slug, man. I'm like, I could have done with, and I have other, I've said this before. I'll wait for that other note because I actually talk about this. But right now, I feel like, damn, 19 episodes to go. Well, shit.
I
I'm
mean,
committed.
my next note here isn't the we're jumping around at insane speeds note, but it is a what the fuck are we doing? The writer thing. Quattro holds up he holds up a bridge with one gun and a single Leo in Hero's hands pointing its gun at that same bridge, and an entire carrier group surrenders. It's friggin' ridiculous. Worse than that is that the next scene is all of the crew in life rafts with Hero and Quattro just standing on the railing and talking. Some of those Oz guys should just see them up there, dive into the water and attempt to retake the ship as two unarmed kids just talk to each other. Hell, for that matter, how are the other ships staying in formation if their crews are all in the water?
Well, I
It's a
think before
carrier
that,
flotilla. There's like 3 or 4 other ships around it that are all sailing together.
Hero seems to have sunk a couple of them.
No. In the scene I'm talking about, where they're just talking at the railing and all the people are in the water, there's 3 or 4 other ships still there.
Yeah. I mean, technically, in a modern ship, they would stay on course.
Legitimately, I imagined it that you were going to give me this bullshit. You're making shit up for the show.
No. I mean, they look like modern ships, so they should.
No. I'm just saying that you're saying, oh, conceivably, these people just abandoned ship. You don't think I might as well set the auto course here.
Well, listen. If our famous kung fu guy can actually crew an entire aircraft carrier by himself, use it to crash inside an enemy base. Never radioed it. It's like, hey, we have a carrier coming in. Oh, they're still coming in. Hey, they're not stopping. Nobody did the, oh shit, they're gonna crash moment. It's like, oh.
Yeah, as per my previous, the guys at the Oz base didn't keep track of the truck that just drove away that they were trying to kill. And they said, no, they've got Aries all over the goddamn place. Didn't check one to go track them down. I'm just saying, I go more into this in the insane speed note that I got coming up, but it's just this element that this would be, I don't want to spoil that, but it's insane.
Yeah.
It's like they must have watched The Hunt for Red October just before, and they're like, I want a 2-episode bit for this.
Now to my next note, which was I kind of referenced before. And again, this episode seems to serve the purpose of still humanizing Hero by showing him, because we never really seen the effect on civilians before. Into 30 episodes, we've seen, except for the school battle on the school, right? But that was Hero like focusing on still being, Hero. Hero's like, oh shit, people are getting hurt by the giant guns that we're using and the missiles and the bombs and the giant robots. Maybe we shouldn't do this, right? So kind of humanizing him again, right? After he chose to fight for us, against us, well, against Ramafel anyway. So I want to start again. Again, this episode seems to serve the purpose of humanizing Hero and to establish a philosophical battle between Relina and Dorothy. To be perfectly honest, I have to go back to an old complaint of mine. This should have been this should have happened 10 to 15 episodes ago. In fact, I want to expand that, and we were talking about Stardust Memories. In Gundam, I prefer the shorter stories that get to the point, like Origins, Stardust Memories, 8th MS Team, rather than the lengthier ones. We just seem to just keep going on. It's like, oh no, we're gonna have to. We're not gonna do what we were told to do in 3 episodes ago in this and the thing that we keep flashing back to, because we have to have another talk about how, this particular character fails to do what they're supposed to do. I'm like, okay. And it kind of feels that way. Like I said about the whole space arc. Oh, we went to space. We got captured. We free ourselves. We got captured again. We got free ourselves. They're building a machine. No, they're not. They got destroyed. It's like, just you could have done that in like one episode. Get captured, free yourselves, get the Gundams, and go, right? But no.
All right, well, it's pretty hard to respond to that because your note was like all over the place and hit like 17 different points. I feel like the only thing that I really kept on there was the element that this is like the humanization arc for Hero. And I think technically he's already done that. Not so much with the protecting of people bit that he's doing here, but the things he said to Quattro and the things he said to Troa way back when, I think were those humanizing elements, because that was also come after his involvement with Relina the first time, where he's like, I can't kill her. So,
yeah.
Well, here's my shortest note of them all. Pagan is a straight up G, had a gun ready to kill Dorothy, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, he is this universe version of Alfred from the Batman series. He's supposed to be specs ops. He knows how to use guns. He's an expert duelist. He was training with not with Trace either.
Sex.
Okay, with Relina's sex. Yeah,
you would say Relina's sister, which would have been wrong too.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very inappropriate. Just because he has long hair. So does she, by the way. So it doesn't really matter. So that guy was always a badass, and it's like, well, I have this gun. I might as well. I'm not gonna use it, but might just keep it around. I bet he gets shot later on. It's like, oh, I had a gun. Oops, I left it at the office.
I legit just never remembered Pagan being in this much of the show. I remembered him from the beginning, and it was like, okay, well, we're done with him.
He's a hacker. He is a pilot. He knows how to, fence. He probably also knows how to use that gun, hopefully, right? He can read people from across the room like, yeah, this girl's trouble. And
no, he didn't read her from across the room. He did research on her before she ever showed up.
Yeah, that's the name. It's like, oh, well, I can convince her. It's like, well, maybe. That was your note, right?
Yeah. I said that was my shortest note, a one-sentence note.
My last note for this episode, you probably have 4 more than this. Again, another long one. As I said during the recording, the reason why Romafel sees total pacifism as a threat is because of while it meant that people will try not to fight, that doesn't mean that they will be obedient to their oppressors. And again, a better written show would have showcased these ideas, well, better. In fact, that has been the focus from the beginning, instead of meandering to different conflicts that we have been so far. This would have been a much better show.
Well, the problem is we've gone from Zex's Earth Sphere Alliance is taking over countries that don't want to be taken over, and his desire to free them of that, and that's why he's following Trey's and Oz, to then moving on to total pacifism, what that means towards world government, which is, 2 different things having to do with 2 different world governments. Yeah. But the old people, essentially, I'm saying old people, the peasants of the town, essentially showing that
I'll be left alone.
Well, no, what are they showing? They're showing, because it's not their total pacifism that they're showing, it's that we just won't do what you tell us, and we don't care what you do to us as a result of that. I think I've got another note about that later. It's just the element of that's its own thing as well. Like, what happens if you shun the government?
Well, I mean, again, it's power. If you cannot exercise your power because people are, I mean, that's kind of the key of peaceful resistance. We don't have to use force, but we don't have to obey your rules. Therefore, you have no real power over us. And if you kill us, you're eliminating the very people that you claim to have power over, right? Because I would argue that using force, especially deadly force, is a failure of power up to a point.
The problem is that you wouldn't be arguing that very long.
No, of course
You'd
not.
be in the mass grave with everybody else that agreed with you.
Yeah. The problem is, okay, fine. 1,000 people might be willing to sacrifice themselves, but what about children? What about the elderly? What other people who just want to be left alone? Like you get killed and they go over your corpses and then they kill that person too. It's like, well, your resistance was nothing. Sure, you didn't want to do the thing. They didn't get out of you, but
Also,
they
conceivably,
certainly
the
killed.
people that you have killing people are on your side. So,
Yeah. And, or they don't kill you, but they set you up to watch other people get tortured or
no,
killed. Or
it's an
like,
interconnected network of
yeah,
threat. I do not support them, but if I don't do what they say, another soldier will kill my family. And
yeah,
likewise, if he doesn't do what they say, I have to kill his family. You know, we don't all come together and realize, oh, if we just all abandon this thing, they've got no power. Because unfortunately, we can't rely on the other guy. It's the prisoner dilemma, right? I can't count on this other guy not doing his job, saving my
and keep
family,
it.
and he can't count on
Yeah,
me not doing my job to save his family.
yeah.
So I was just arguing Monty Hall earlier. I fucking hate Monty Hall. I disagree with it. No matter how many proofs you show me, I fucking hate it. If you pick the same door, it's always going to be the same odds. Doesn't matter what the host knows. Alright, well, here's the much alluded to note. I feel like the jumps characters make in this show would ruin most other shows. Like Hero and Quattro steal a transport, crash into a carrier group, and take it over. That would be the plot of an entire arc of some shows. The planning of the theft, the action scenes on the carrier group, the negotiation at gunpoint with the crew, the escape from any retaliatory forces. What you do with the ships and where you go with them? But no, all of that is like 5 minutes at most with Wing. We come back to Hero and Quattro, and they've joined up with the Trace faction fighting in a jungle somewhere. What happened to the carrier group? How did they sail away without someone chasing them down to get their ships back? Who cares? Not in this show. That's why you can't take Gundam Wing seriously. I can't imagine watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes and having Reinhardt flying his ship into the sun to escape rebel ships in one episode, then suddenly just talking to Grimmelshausen on Odin in the next episode, with nothing in between them. That's the kind of narrative whiplash we have to deal with in Gundam Wing constantly. And I didn't write this down, but it's the thing I was talking about earlier with the insane speeds of the show. We just took over a carrier group. Now we're in the jungle fighting. We just jumped from one major story plot in a regular show to another major story plot in a different show.
Oh, and somehow you're in jungle one moment, and then you're in a northern like country with stuff like German, like central Germany, with peasants and they're raising wheat. It's like unless you created that is just the same place. Like, oh,
That
it's
is
a
the same place. The jungle is just outside of the village. It goes from like jungle to clear plains where they're doing the farming and everything.
yeah, that seems
I'm
like
just
what
saying
kind of
that
world is this?
the
you
carrier
know?
group thing would have been an entire show for a different show. But
Yeah,
we just, that's what I'm saying, insane speeds. When you're saying we're not doing anything, and I'm saying the we're not doing anything element has nothing to do with the speed of which we're jumping around. As we're playing
yeah,
D&D, and in one 10-minute span of playing D&D, you will not only defeated the kingdom, another kingdom rose up that you now have to defeat as well. Plus, your daughter got married, but she already has a son, and the son's going to college, and you had to also figure out how you could pay tuition, while at the same time, the bank is coming down. 10 minutes. Fucking 10
yeah.
minutes.
And then a dragon shows up because why not?
Yeah, I'm just saying that this is so fucking fast paced that we don't care about anything we left behind, because that's the thing we've established. That we just
Yeah,
jump from place to place to place, to scene to scene to scene. Like I talked about before, that a boat and a supersonic jet travel at the same speed because everybody arrives wherever they need to go at exactly the same time.
and the only thing we see as a map is we see what's his name hero. Oh, hey, they're gonna do this in Australia. I'm like, destroy the Gundams in Australia or something like that. I'm like, so you're going to Australia? No, you're going to this other place, which may or may not be Australia or Germany, or I don't know, a Vietnamese village, German village in the middle of South Vietnam or something. I don't know what the hell's going on, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I don't. It's just a nothing matters situation. That's why Gundam
Yeah.
Wing sucks. Nothing matters, and the only thing that we really can focus on is action scenes and character relationships.
It's very soap opera, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, then it kind of fits, doesn't it? The element that this show doesn't look like it looks worse than, and apart from other shows made at the same time.
Yeah.
Presumably, this was being made around the same time as Stardust Memory, ironically.
No, Stardust is 1990 comes out. So
Stardust Memory is 1994, about.
94, yeah, about. That's where
I
the
mean, if
budget
your
went.
argument is that Stardust Memory was made before Gundam Wing, which I think would be true, then that does not play well for Gundam Wing, which looks worse.
Let me see. I want to verify. 1991. Yeah.
So yeah, I will say the art style does not bear a 3-year difference.
No, I mean,
It's like a
Stardust Memory is
10-year difference.
Yes, Stardust Memory very much still looks like something out of the 1980s, which
no, and it looks very much like a 1990s. Stardust Memory looks 1990s. Wing might look 80s.
Oh, I would say the opposite.
No, because War in the Pocket is also 90s, and it looks the same. Not the same, but very similar to Stardust Memory.
1989, 1990. Yeah, so yeah, it's 80s. Yeah, very much 80s.
I'm saying that Stardust Memory looks better than what you're saying it looks like. I'm saying that 90s anime is more advanced than that. Like, some of the best.
No, a lot of 1990s anime actually looks pretty cheap.
I disagree with you because I'm currently watching a lot of 90s anime. So, plus, I think, I guess most of my
now, if you make
starting anime that I started watching was in the 90s too. So, by that, which I mean, anime that came out in the 90s is the anime that I started with.
Yeah. Now, you're making a comparison with a clearly 1990s anime, which is 8th MS Team, that looks like from the 1990s and certainly looks much better than this. Then, yeah, I would agree.
I mean, Stardust Memory is a mid 90s show.
1991. So, no, mid
94.
Mid 90. 91. I just checked.
I'm looking up, so clearly I can't be typing. Sorry, I found a comedy drama called Stardust Memory, which is from 1980. Woody Allen. Shit.
Yeah. Oops.
Whoops, married my own daughter.
Oof. That's a big oof right there.
Ironically, also sounds like the title of a Woody Allen movie. Because it would be a biopic. Anyway, you said you were out of notes?
I'm out of notes.
Okay, I've got 2 more. As much as I like Dorothy, her conversations with Relina are just so pointless. 4 minutes of back and forth essentially boiling down to, I'll teach you all to be pacifists. Fighting is human nature. No, it's not, and I'll die to prove it. The pacifist stance from Relina and the townsfolk on the hero side becoming one of principles over life. They won't defend themselves from the soldiers fighting in their midst and would rather die than get involved. It completely goes against everything that the guerrillas taught Wu Fei back when he was seeking a meaning for being. And yet here we are, meant to wrap all of these things up together and learn a lesson from the show. I mean, Dorothy points out that Relina will have knights to protect her from her own philosophy, and Hero is protecting the villagers from their own pacifism. The message is as garbled as its narratives are.
Yeah, I mean, again, a better writer would have said, oh, the reason why someone on the street feels that way is that they may feel powerless and they don't. I mean, I think the old man said something like, oh, this is always happens. There's always one new ruler that wants to, exploit us. So, we just don't want to cooperate. That's it. But fighting is just going to get us killed. We die to this fighting this guy, and then someone else comes along and then takes over and is equally or more despotic. So my death didn't do anything.
And then think back to Wu Fei in the jungle with the guerrillas who were fighting that same fight, and then that's the message that we got first, and that's what motivates Wu Fei to do all of this shit.
And technically speaking, that's the whole show started because the Earth Alliance was oppressing the colonies, and they started this operation to fight back against the Earth Alliance and Oz to stop them being oppressive, right?
It's a tricky moment, isn't it? You get sold on the show about these Gundams fighting against an oppressive government in order to stand up. And then at some point in the middle of the show, but what about total pacifism? What if we weren't fighting, like, at all? I keep
You know,
going back to
I would see this more fitting Seed Destiny because you're caught in between two groups that seem to be, at least one of them is genocidal and the other one is like, well, not Seed Destiny, just Seed.
I
Because
mean
Seed Destiny, yeah,
comparing it to that, but wait till we get to Gundam 00, which is the revamp of this. The one
yeah.
that won the poll about what's the best Gundam series that we've seen on the channel so far. I think we said we would watch it after this one. But I keep
Yeah,
going to my example is always the LOI from the Time Machine.
yeah, they always get eaten because of that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they are essentially the total pacifists without the someone to protect them thing. The hero, the Dorothy, whatever you think of, it's happening here with the total pacifists. They don't have anyone to guard them until what's his name, time traveler. I can't remember the character's name. Shows up to try and save them because that's your example right there. What happens when you have a group of total pacifists and a bunch of people who don't care about pacifism? You get the Morlocks who are gonna fucking eat you alive, and in this case, not figuratively.
Yeah.
All right, well, my last note here. Many people and countries are demanding pacifism. Although their cumulative strength is still insignificant, once the number of people who seek peace outweighs the soldiers, the world will change. No, old man, the cumulative strength of a bunch of pacifists will always be zero. Maybe if you existed in a better written show, one with nuance and featuring cause and effect, one where a protest in one episode might lead to discussions in the next, then maybe pacifism could change your world. Unfortunately, this show only regards the outcomes of combat, and even then, only for so long as the camera is pointed at it. Legitimately, the two Oz factions fighting over the town are proving him wrong as we speak. They could have killed everyone in the crossfire without a second thought to their pacifism or peaceful protest.
I mean, yeah, if we were to say that there was political pressure, that you have elections or whatever, right? Or people like literally you have soldiers who get convinced, like, oh, we're not going to fight, and they put down the weapons and walk away or something like that. That would be an impact, right? Oh, you're convincing the actual soldiers with the guns, like, yeah, we don't want to die for these, you know, aristocrats who just want to see war as a sport. Fuck them, I'm going to walk away. But instead, they're just fighting each other. So it's like, and everybody gets caught in the crosshairs. So it's like, yeah, okay, sure.
What's the thing we
And by
talked
the
about
way,
earlier about
one
you have to
one
care
of
about the
those
people?
factions, one of the factions came into power briefly because they tricked someone else to assassinate the leadership of the last rulers of Earth who were in the process saying, oh yeah, we conquered everybody, so now we're going to talk peace, right? We got everything secure. And they at that very moment they got murdered. So it's like, and literally Trace, well, I don't know if Trace actually ordered the assassination of the colonel, the one in English, like that guy. But certainly what's her name thought that that's what he wanted. So like,
I don't know. I think I was mainly incensed by the cumulative strength of pacifists. It's like you're not.
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like this is something I criticize it like on Cold Opera, which is I call characterization to fit the plot. Right. At one moment, this is who you are, and the next moment, well, we need you to fight this other people. So now you're the good guys because we want you to be more
Yeah, you
relative,
remember
right?
when Hero would kill anyone who saw him?
Yeah. Now he's like, no, no, kindness is a thing that I have to. Oh, well, see, in a better written show, you would have seen the arc of Hero being the program, I suppose, facing and kind of see aspects of it, but it's a flashier thing as opposed to be more consistent. Like, there's no point where he sort of sits down and go like, God damn it, I killed a lot of people, right? His resolution was like, I'm gonna go to the family members of a man I killed and give them a gun and give them a chance to kill me. That's how I dealt with this. It's like, uh, okay, that's an interesting approach. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, anything else you want to bring up before we get into this?
I have to admit, I'm right now. I'm a little burned out on Gundam Wing. We're gonna watch it to say I made the commitment. I'm gonna watch it to the end. But right now, if you see my face going like, it's because I'm a tiny little burned out. Just I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still entertaining. It's just like the worst
It is
show
what it
we're
is.
watching at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, well, all that said, nothing left to do but to hop on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I mean,
I will
certainly, yeah,
say-
the soundtrack. I know we're both going the same
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. Sounds just holds up, you know.
Well, I think I said that
Ah.
like even way back when in toonami days. It's the OST. The OST carries it hard.
Yeah, I have it. I have the OSC for this show. It holds up, yeah.
I mean, for me, when it comes to Gundam non-UC, because I can't really remember any of the OSTs from the UC shows, it's this one and Iron Blooded Orphans.
I have to listen to that one, yeah.
Well, I mean, wait till we get there, obviously.
Oh, I did like. Again, it reminds me of Seed Destiny because I also like some of the music in Seed Destiny, especially Ignite. I know you didn't like it.
Well,
'cause it was very
no.
abrupt,
Sea Destiny had that one. I was say Pocket Bell. It's not Pocket Bell. What's I can't remember the name of the song. I went on about it for a long period of time trying to figure out what it was.
The third song that they use, yeah.
Well, it's used in a lot of the background of Gundam Sea Destiny. I liked that, but I mean, maybe Gundam Sea Destiny is number 3 on that list.
Yeah.
Iron Blooded Orphans has a lot going for it too, but it's not as iconic as Gundam Wing. Also, obviously, the English cast. Didn't make a note
guess
about
we
it,
have-
but I also fucking hate how much the mobile dolls just got super weak during the last episode.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because they
you
got
know what the
blasted
ultimate
by
weakness is? A small laser.
from a shuttle of all things.
Well, it's not that. It's a fucking small laser. Like, it can take massive blasts, like the Mercurius. It can take that blast, but it can't take a tiny laser. Except for the one that happened last episode, where it did take a giant blast and then got torn apart.
Yeah.
Even though it can take a hit from Wing Zero.
誰よりも戦い抜いてみせる。地球上の誰よりもだ。サンクキングダムのリリーナよりも。
Well, she's not fighting at all, so
サンクキングダム。
you already won that race. Yeah. It's just like, I would fight longer than somebody who doesn't fight. I win.
You set the mannequins on the stairs, I guess.
校舎の理事教室でお待ちです。
ここからは僕たちだけで行きます。僕も嘘は苦手ですが、パーガンに嘘をつかせる役は似合いませんからね。
俺は付き合
Didn't she meet them in the airport though?
さっさとここから出ていく。
Yeah.
ダメだよ、ヒーロー。
Unless she just, like, saw them and then ran away.
そして、そのことは秘密にしなきゃいけないんだよ。
リリーナはガンダムを必要としていない。
でも、プリンセスを守るには必要なんだ。分かってあげて、ヒーロー。
お優しい。
She's not a princess.
She's a queen, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, technically, there's no king or queen, so the prince and the princess become the king and queen. Or, you know, that's not the way it works. Go back to our Woody Allen conversation.
Oh, because he still has a manner of a rich kid, so they assume the hero is the.
Well, technically,
The
we've gotten
servant.
Hero and Duo at school. Now we're getting Hero and Quattro at school.
Yeah.
俺は長居するつもりはない。この国で用が
What's the men's uniform for the school be?
It's the same uniform as before.
It's just backwards English text. What, you thinking pink blazers for the men too? And what, shorts?
Huh.
Probably?
Probably.
Check all the circuses.
サンクキングダムにガンダムのパイロットがいては まずいんじゃないのか。
わざわざ公言する必要はありませんが、逃げ隠れしたって問題は解決しません。それにこの国に戦いはありません。だからここではあなたもただの男子生徒です。
Yeah, you don't have any landlords here?
Yeah.
'Cause I assume there's some sort of economic oppression. Green.
Oh, wow.
White?
That
Green?
literally, he was
What's a
standing
blue?
there. He goes like this, and just the clothing just came on.
Well, it turns out you think Tro is working at the circus, but Hero is the magician.
Yeah.
皆様に新しいお友達を紹介いたし
Also,
ます。
she knows that Dorothy is the daughter of the leader of.
Jamal, yeah. Pagan told her.
Yeah, so
But she wants to have conversations, you know, debate everything.
随時攻撃目標敵の情報など連絡する。
了解
I also want to point out that this is essentially a school full of girls, and these are the only two guys.
ではコードネームを
This
決
is
めて
somebody's thing.
宇宙の平和的指導者の名をもらうことにした。わかったな。
oh, that
了解
Pete.
した。
Because for some reason we needed a flashback to establish
黄
this.
色ゆいです。よろしく。
Hey, remember back in episode 1? No, episode 2?
男は
Yeah, where
We're
you
back
just saw.
again.
全てを解決するとは思っていないんだろうな。
男と女の差ではないだろう。女でも戦いの好きなやつはいる。
Like Dorothy.
お相手願えますかしら。あなたの
Air
紹介は
quotes.
伺ったけど、
cord.
私はまだ自己紹介をしていないわ。私はドロッシー・カタロニア。
Like I said, Dorothy's probably my third favorite character of the show. Zex, knowing Dorothy.
あなたとも仲良くしたいの。そのためには強くなくてはダメね。嫌いでしょ？弱い女の子は。
I think you're talking about Wu Fei.
Yeah.
Wrong Gundam pilot.
あるところに同じ名前
Look, you frozen. Open stance. I think you get hit right here.
その一人は宇宙を平和にするために命を懸け、そして宇宙の伝説となりました。多くの人は彼の死を悲しみ、怒りを持って復讐を誓いました。そしてもう一人の同じ名前を持つ
My favorite part about fencing is we stand still talking to each other.
彼は最高の才能と力を持つ戦士です。平和のためにやはり戦うのでしょう。その彼もまた伝説となるために命を落とすのでしょうか。ダメよ。伝説のナイトはわざとやられたりはしないわ。逃げ隠れするために不女子に負けるなんてことは絶対にダ
Now,
メ。
you're being sexist?
強く気高く激しく生きて死ぬのはそれからでいいでしょ。あなたはもっと大きな伝説を作れるはず。そうでしょ、ヒーローユイ。
I don't think that's technically a hit. Also, didn't she already score on you? Shouldn't you reset?
さすがだわ。でも私も結構やるでしょ、ヒーロー。
俺にはお前の言ってることが理解できない。どうやら俺以外にヒーローユイが2人いるらしいな。
Probably a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like a generation of kids that now have named Hero.
ずっとサンクキングダムでご一緒でよろしく、ヒーロー。お呼びですか、リリーナ様。今ロームフェラの方からサンクキングダムでの戦闘許可申請が来ました。どういうことなのでしょうか。
オズに追われたトレーズ
The
派が
battle
南部
in
の
the-
山林に逃げ込んでいます。先ほど直ちに退去するよう通達しております。
退去して
But they won't because you don't have any force to make
負
them.
傷者がいるようですが、敵への投降という方法もあります。この国の関わる問題ではありません。
負傷兵が。
ロームフェラの追撃部隊が迫っております。再度トレーズ派の部隊に国外退去命令を出し
Well,
ます。
sure, if you take them in,
パーガン
you can't protect them
彼ら
either.
を一時的な亡命者として扱えませんか。それならロームフェラも攻撃を控えます。
リリーナ様。
ロームフェラ財団がサンクキングダムを疎ましく思っていることを私も知っています。でも怪我人を突き出すような真似はできません。混乱を避けるために人の道を外したくはありません。 分かってください、ノインさん。
See, taking injured enemies of a enemy who has innumerable firepower with no concern for the amount of people, your own people, which will be injured by this.
サンクキングダムに逃げ込まなければならないと。
神聖王子の攻撃は巧妙でした。我々は追い込まれたんです。
我々はいい笑い者だ。ドームフェラがサンクキングダムに侵攻する手段にされるとは。さあ、のんびりはしていられんぞ。これ以上はこの国に迷惑がかかる。行くぞ。
隊長、そのお体ではとても国境越えなどできません。
黙れ。トレーズ派の名を汚さぬためにも我々はここを立ち去らねばならんのだ。 得意。サンクキングダムから連絡が入っています。
What reputation would that be? The one that murders, tricks people into murdering other people? That reputation?
I thought you were talking about the reputation of the Sank Kingdom.
No,
In which
but
case, it's
instead
the
of
reputation of the kingdom that gets conquered
Trace.
every generation.
本来ならそのお言葉はありがたく賜るところだが、この地に追い込まれたのは罠だ。このままオズが黙っているとは思えん。奴らは退路を断った後、攻撃
You know what you could do? Cede them territory.
Yeah, but that's just, you know,
No,
it's
no,
just so
no.
that
The
the
plan
massive-
is for Romefeller to come attack the Sank Kingdom because they're here, claim that they took over territory, and now that's not part of the Sank Kingdom. It's its own independent nation run by these Oz people, legally distinct from the Sank Kingdom. Therefore, they can't come to the Sank Kingdom. They could just come to this very specific spot. Legally easier way through this.
Depends on, you have to look at geography and exactly where they are at, you know.
They're on the
If you
border.
can-
Remember, he was just talking about
Yeah,
crossing
but
the border
bo-
again.
If you, how deep are into past the border? Yeah.
They seem to imply that they're on the border, in which case you're ceding territory to the edge of your kingdom. And then you sue the Romefeller Foundation later after the fact to get your territory back.
この国の、いや、未来のためだ。
Or, you know, we could just 3D print these things because Quattro
No,
already knows
remember
how
they
to.
found it. Remember they found it.
No,
It's
they
not that
didn't
3D
find
print-
it.
Yeah, they did.
No, that's the one
That's the
that
whole
she...
thing with Sally Poe.
Yeah, no, that's the
found,
one
yeah.
that Sally got. They didn't find it. They didn't come from nowhere. That's the original one. I'm just saying that Quattro knows how to 3D print them.
Yeah.
We don't need an army of they're not Aries, are they?
No, those are not
Tauruses.
Aries, they're
They don't need an army of
Tauruses.
Tauruses. They could have an army of Wing Zeros.
リリーナ・ピースクラフトです。トレーズ派は亡命者としてこちらで引き取ることにしました。これ以上の侵犯は直接財団へ抗議することになります。
Of which we'll do absolutely nothing about.
トレーズ派は我々の追撃を逃れるため、サンクキングダムの中心部を抑え籠城するとのことです。
Central Sank
市街地に
Kingdom.
入る前に攻撃することは我々の平和への協力と考えております。
トレーズ派は攻撃意思を持っていません。そう彼らが明言しています。
彼らが明言。それでは我々は余計信用できません。通信終わります。敵に傍受される可能性がありますので。
お待ちなさい。再度確認をしてからでも。
どうしますか?
It does align very clearly to Gundam Seed and Kigali's, I don't want to say stupidity, but naivete.
Yeah. But with Kigali was worse because she was a fighter to begin with, right? Relina never's been a fighter. She's always been a civilian.
No, I don't know. I would say Kigali's worse. Kigali was more realistic.
現地に行きます。
Relina's is worse because they put her in charge with absolutely nothing, no reason.
直接行ってやめさせます。それしか方法はありません。
I have a history of jumping in
How
front
are
of
you gonna
guns.
do it? Yes.
神聖オズからしますと無法を隠せる地域。何を目的に戦いを行うかわかりません。
私が狙われるというのですね。でもどんな結果になろうと、今は止めようとすることが大事なんです。
How? How are you gonna stop them?
By standing in the
Yeah.
way, obviously. She seems to think that they'll care if she dies. And I don't think anybody does.
戦いが始まってしまいますわ。これは
平和主義国にあってはならない武装兵器だ。 宇宙用モビルスーツを陸戦用に改良している。
このことをプリンセスは知っているのですか？
こんな力があるから人は戦うことを考えてしまう。ガラス細工のように脆弱な平和にしがみつきたいから。あの方ならきっとそうおっしゃる。
でも今こそ戦わなくてはなりません。ヒーローが動きました。
Yeah, because at the end of the day, everybody acknowledges that total pacifism is bullshit.
追いましょう。このトーラスで。
よし、準備する。
I mean,
there's a difference. I think it should have been total neutrality. That would have been
because
a
at
more
the end of the
precision.
day, if you think about it, the Sank Kingdom is a kingdom. The borders, having borders at all is imposing your will on your neighbors. How are you going to back up your will to say that these borders are mine without some sort of force?
自爆か。それもいいだろう。しかし、この国のためをもっての死ならば、もう少しその命に使い道がある。我々の使い道だと。この無防備すぎる国を守るつもりはないか。我々にはまともな戦力は残っていない。ロームフェラに一撃加えたいのならついてこい。うまくいけば生き延びられるかもな。
Despite what the princess says, the only way to meet force is with equivalent force.
Or greater one in this case.
I mean, you're saying greater. It's like 6 mobile suits. I don't... Obviously,
Yeah, but I'm talking
they're
about
the
the Gundam.
protagonists, but, you know. Would have been easily killable in a real-world scenario. But we let him just walk around.
Okay.
Yeah, decoy. Also, not for nothing, the Tauruses should not be anything to the mobile dolls. The Tauruses are just a step up from Leos and Aries. Remember when your arm was in a sling minutes ago?
Still is.
No, not when he's there. Remember when it was a thing that Hero couldn't move the arm on the mobile suit properly because he was injured? This guy. Yeah, we just got done watching Macross.
Yeah.
And we just decided the shield would fail.
Well, it seems to fail against physical attacks like that because what's his name was able to, the Death Side was able to cut one couple of them down.
The Death Side cuts through everything. Said that really early in the beginning. It cuts through Gundanium. $15, remember. Before anyone gets so freaky out there. $15.
Yeah.
Same age as Relina, as Pagan pointed out. Now imagine that we saw that thing just going sideways, or horizontal, perpendicular with the ground. And then these guys are now looking down at it, meaning they're flying straight towards the ground. Go figure solid gold brakes don't stop Bret Hart easy.
Yeah, it didn't explode from getting hit by a beam weapon. It just got deflected. How convenient.
I appreciate that these mobile dolls parachuted in, scanned the battlefield, and determined this solid gold limo was the threat that they needed to target.
Also, didn't have their shields up, by the way, so they got taken out with a couple of shots.
Yeah, I'm just saying, these mobile dolls are like the ultimate in weaponry, and we've dumbed them down for some reason.
このようなものはサンクキングダムに必要ないとリリーナ様はおっしゃるでしょうが、ロームフェラの行動は日増しに圧力となってきています。リリーナ様のお考えに反していることは承知。
And that's why I will start teaching the idea of partial pacifism.
全ては私の一存。いかなる処分もお受けいたします。
何も反省することがない。ロームフェラ財団と正面切って戦うには、この程度の戦力では少なすぎるくらいだ。
You say that as a group of 5 people that took out the leader of the Earthsphere Alliance.
ヒーロー、私の考えは夢、それとも過ちなのでしょうか。
ロームフェラ財団は自分たちに不都合なものを次々と消していく。宇宙コロニー、ガンダムと。
Literally 2 things that they haven't eliminated. Your only examples are false.
戦うことで奴らを潰す。しかし戦闘を拒否する態度が今の財団の動きになっている。時代は急速に変化した。ロームフェラ財団の焦りがこの戦闘の全てだ。完全平和主義か。世界はその方向に向かっている。
No. Romofeller controls most of the world, so no, it doesn't. Reminder, he just got here this episode.
Yeah.
ガンダムは戦うために存在するのだ。あなただったらサンクキングダムをどうしますか。
ノインと同じだ。防衛部隊を作る。それが今最もロームフェラに対抗できる方法だろう。
The best way to lead a pacifist nation by building a military.
リリーナ様、私の一番身近にいる人たちと同じ考えになることもできないで、世界に共通の考えは生み出せないでしょう。そしていつか見出します。何がみんなを戦いに走らせるのかを。
Oh, that sounds familiar. Maybe it's a genetic condition. We can build better humans.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Durandal, be on the scene.
ガンダムのパイロットに決して負けていないわ。だから大好き、リリーナ様が。
What? That doesn't make any sense.
So why is the screen vibrating? Yeah. What's it called again? Holding 2 thoughts in your head at the same time? 2 opposing thoughts in your head at the same time?
Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance. That's what the show is.
Oh, it's more than just 2 thoughts. It's just whatever the writers like to put in there.
No, yeah, but I just mean like the main theme right now of total pacifism, but also in need of defending yourself. Like,
yeah, I think
as much as I shit on the show so far, this is a pretty good episode to denote how you can't do both things at the same time.
Yeah. I think if they were talking about total neutrality, then that would make more sense.
Tell my wife I said hello.
I feel like they're taking like a wastebasket, throwing a lot of ideas in there, like crumple up paper, and then set it on fire. Because why not? You know? And when, yeah, I have a show.
Well, I would argue that total neutrality would also have a completely different set of problems. Because it's the same exact
you can't
scenario.
Have a defense force to defend yourself.
Hold on for our next time on, and we'll come back to this.
地球に降下したヒーローとカトル以外のガンダムのパイロットは宇宙にとどまっていた。姿を隠しながら抵抗を続けていたデュオにオズが迫る。調整中のガンダムデスサイズヘルの前にウィングゼロが攻撃を仕掛ける。その戦いの中でデュオはウィングゼロの性能にある疑問を持つのであった。新機動戦機ガンダムウィング第32話死神とゼロの対決。
No, I was saying the total neutrality problem has its own problems, and you were going for the defense thing, and that's not what I'm getting at here. Put the total neutrality thing into this episode, and then you have the Oz soldiers coming into the Sand Kingdom, and then the Rollfeller people coming after those Oz soldiers. You still have that situation, and then you have the inability to take sides because you're completely neutral. You can't defend the soldiers because of your neutrality. And by the same token, why would you fight Romefeller coming in? Because you can't choose their side either.
No, you're defending your borders.
Yeah, but they're not
That's
attacking you. They're attacking the soldiers.
But they're penetrating your borders and violating your sovereignty.
So are
you need
the
to defend
soldiers. Are you
yourself.
not then also attacking the soldiers for penetrating your borders?
Yeah, but now what Relina said, we're taking them as, refugees because they're wounded. And once they're done, they have to leave.
So you're taking their side. Because Romefeller, you clearly know that Romefeller is going to attack because you're taking them in. So you're taking their side, which then puts you on the Trey's side of the whole thing, which now you're not neutral anymore. You've taken a side. You can't say that we're going to take them in without expecting to be known what the ramifications of that are going to be on the world stage. So you can't take them in. Otherwise, you're not neutral. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're doing humanitarian aid, which is
total neutrality has its own problems. It's a different set of problems, but it is a just as complicated set of problems.
You're doing humanitarian aid. You're not giving them weapons. You're not fighting for them or anything like that.
I think this goes back to a previous argument that we've had before, that whatever justifications you come up with don't matter because it's what everybody else thinks that matters. That's what politics is. You're politicking. You're dealing with other people's thoughts. Your justifications are what get printed on your own newspapers. Who gives a shit? What everyone else thinks. You're saying we're doing humanitarian good. These are injured people. They're no longer combatants. I think they're trying to take over your government, and we're acting to defend you against whatever fuckery they're up to, and the rest of the world, because we control most of it, is going to believe what we say. So we have to act in your self-interest. And, as I said, you have to know that if you're going to do this, Romefeller is going to attack you. So you're no longer neutral. It's hard to be neutral. Especially if you have convictions. I wonder why the next...
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You can't do good and expect the people who don't like those people to not do anything about it. You can't give aid to people without those enemies of those people then viewing you as an enemy. In which case, again, you're no longer neutral. It's a balancing act.
Who the hell is piloting the other Gundam, the other unit 1? I
Probably
suppose,
what's his name? Trant. I would assume Trant. Trant Clark.
They captured it, I suppose. Well, they did capture it. So.
Well, it's just that we haven't seen him since Lady Un got pissed at him. Was it Trant? Sorry, I'm getting conflating two different people together. I think it's Trant is what I'm talking about, and he was the one who was with Tuberov, so it's probably right. But who's the other guy? No, Nicole was the other guy I was talking about.
Yeah, Nicole was the loyalist. Not really.
Well, you've seen him with Catalonia, but he also was with Un for a while there. He was the guy who was trying to navigate Lady Un switching personalities around. I got him confused with Trant because Trant was also dealing with Tuberov and the experimental mobile dolls and whatnot. So if like I said, I didn't really get a picture of him there when he was in the cockpit, but I would assume Trant, unless it's someone entirely new.
Like, not really much to say about. We already talked about everything about this episode, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't work. Total pacifist doesn't seem to work, so they have to have a defense force. But I also feel that maybe she wants to agree with her because she wants to keep Hero around. Like, oh, yeah, I'll have a spot for you in my defense force.
Like I said, it's cognitive dissonance.
Oh, yeah. It's a cognitive whirlwind, basically.
No, I don't think I've got anything else. So, once again, that being said, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?